We're in for a treat with this Premier League season. After 5 matches, it's given us a great insight into what we can expect. But what exactly have we learnt so far? Let's discuss 5 things from this season. First of all then, after 5 matches played, this is the Premier League table. Level on 13 points at the top of the table are Chelsea, Liverpool and Manchester United, and we can view this on the sponsor for this video, OneFootball. And then further down at the bottom, the relegation zone at the moment is Norwich City without a point so far, Burnley on 1 point and Newcastle United on 2 points. OneFootball is brilliant for looking at player stats, and what we can say we have learnt so far is that Mikel Antonio is a fantastic Premier League player. We can see the top goal scorers, Mikel Antonio has scored 4, and the top assisters too. Mikel Antonio is there as well with 3. What the app allows you to do is see the number of goals and assists combined and see that in a league table. So joint at the top is Mikel Antonio and Paul Pogba on 7 goals and assists. You can then tap onto individual players to see detailed stats on their season, and that is what OneFootball is really brilliant for. So to access that yourself, you can download OneFootball on your phone by clicking the link in the description. So the first point to discuss is that this is the most competitive Premier League season. What does that really mean though, the most competitive Premier League season? Well, really we're talking about those top teams, Chelsea, Liverpool, United, City, how strong they are looking. They're not just the strongest teams in the Premier League, but the strongest teams in Europe, and we're going to talk about them in a little moment anyway. But outside of those, you've got teams like West Ham who have shown that they can continue their form from last season. Brighton are currently 4th in the league table with 12 points. Everton have started well under Rafa Benitez. You've got Aston Villa who signed some really good players in the summer transfer window. Leicester City have shown that they can compete around the Champions League places for the last couple of seasons. And then even Brentford, who are looking good, only 2 goals conceded so far, a good defence by them. You've got Leeds who always spark up surprising results. Crystal Palace have not started so badly under Patrick Vieira, so I think with all of these different teams it makes for a very entertaining Premier League season. With each Premier League season it gets stronger and stronger, and that means it stays unpredictable, and that each game week that comes along you're probably going to have a surprising shock result. So yeah, the top 4 is probably going to be Chelsea, Liverpool, United, City as we expect, and like I say we're going to get to that in a moment. But outside of that, for the European places to finish in the top 10, I think it's very unpredictable and it's very, very competitive. So let's get on to the second point here, which I've been alluding to, the title race of Chelsea, City, Liverpool and United. Before the season started and when people were doing their predictions, this is the top 4 that just about everybody had. And it started that way with Chelsea in first place right now, looking very, very strong, and the same as Liverpool actually, 4 wins, 1 draw with 12 scored and 1 conceded. They're both the same. Out of those 4 teams, the only team to not win 4 matches so far is Manchester City. They lost their opening match to Tottenham and then drew 0-0 with Southampton. And even though we're only 5 matches in, it feels like the title race is well underway. Each match that comes along feels so important. Any points dropped is huge, and the matches between these 4 teams when they come up against each other will be massive. The third point is about Brighton and the fact that they've had a major turning point this season. Now we do need to see if this form will carry on, but what we have seen so far has been a big improvement to previous seasons under Graham Potter. We've always seen the potential with Brighton under Graham Potter, however they haven't got the results that they probably should have in previous seasons. The last match that they played in against Leicester was a massive one because I thought this was a real big insight into whether Brighton can compete against a side like Leicester, who have been around the top 5 for the last couple of seasons. For Brighton to get a 2-1 win in that match I think really showed that they are here to compete. They can compete against a strong side like Leicester, and they stayed in the top 4. Taking a brief look into them this season, we can see that they're playing more shorter passes, they're having less touches in the penalty area, but it's working well. And this is something that I discussed many times with Brighton last season. They were getting more points when they had less touches of the ball. And Brighton's new addition at left wing back, Marco Correa, is looking a really good addition to their side, a creative player who wants to drive forward with the ball. He's only featured in 2 Premier League matches so far, but from what we've seen of him, we know that he's going to have a big impact on their performances. So comment down below, let me know where you think Brighton could finish in the Premier League this season after seeing their performances so far. And while we're on that topic, if you could please click the like button on the video, it massively helps the videos getting found. That would be very much appreciated. The fourth point is about the newly promoted teams and the fact that Norwich are the worst out of the newly promoted teams. Now, probably that isn't a surprise. Norwich are a team that a lot of people expected to get relegated, and me included. But to have 0 points from the first 5 matches, 2 goals scored and 14 conceded is very concerning. Brentford in their opening 5 matches have won 2, drawn 2 and lost 1 with 5 goals scored and 2 conceded. Back to Norwich though, there's big problems in defence for them. They always seem very open and exposed when teams are attacking them. And then in terms of scoring goals, well, so far they've had 51 shots. However, the majority of them are from long range. The average distance for their shots taken is 18.9 yards, and that is the furthest away of any Premier League team. But for Watford, they've come up and have started well. Ismaila Sarr's looked really bright coming back into the Premier League. Emmanuel Dennis has looked like a decent signing too. And then you've got Brentford, who have started well. In their last match, they won against Wolves away from home 2-0. And there's been quite a big expectation on Ivan Toney to come into the Premier League and start performing kind of like he did in the Championship. And well, in that Wolves match, he got a goal and an assist. So they've settled in well. There's a long way to go, but what we can say is that they're looking better than Norwich. The fifth point here to discuss is similar to the first one, but it's an open chase for the European spots. Last season, we saw West Ham step up and take a European spot, but easily another team can do the same thing this season. Brighton are up there already. Can they continue that form to get a European spot? Aston Villa, they're going to be competing for one of those spots too with the players that they've signed. Leon Bailey looks really good as a new signing. West Ham will be in the conversation. Everton will be in the conversation. Tottenham and Leicester as well. And then it's any other team that wants to put in a good run, because we didn't mention Arsenal. Could they put in a good run of form? In Sheffield United's first Premier League season, they were competing around the European spot. Could Brentford do something similar? It's a big ask, but who knows what could happen in the Premier League. If you did enjoy the video, then please click the like button, and for more Premier League insight and analysis, subscribe to Route 1.